Hello everyone, welcome to the second devlog of my arcade game. If you're new to this series, I'm making an arcade game and assembling its cabinet for an arcade, and these devlogs document my journey. In this episode, I'll go over some of the notable changes I made since the last devlog, and talk about some of the challenges that I faced. First, I redid the movement controls entirely, after some playtesters informed me that the controls felt unintuitive. Originally, I had modeled the controls after the arcade game Asteroids, where you would use two buttons to rotate the ship and one to add thrust. Now, the ship moves wherever the joystick points. With this approach, however, arose a new challenge, to make the ship realistically rotate to its target direction. Whereas previously the rotation was taken care of by the player, now it was up to the game to intelligently rotate the ship to face the direction of movement. If I simply set the direction to the target direction, the ship snaps to the final angle, which looks very jarring. I tried to remedy it by tweaking the rotation from the current angle to the target angle. This worked for the most part, but it failed in certain cases where instead of taking the shortest turn to the final angle, it rotated all the way around. After extensive musing and experimentation, I arrived at this solution, which now makes the ship look very fluid and natural. Next, I wanted to rework the super gaining mechanism. Previously, the only way to gain super was to wait for the super bar to fill up. However, after watching a well-timed design doc video on supers, I got an idea to make it so that you can gain super when you damage your opponent. But there's a twist. Your opponent gets twice as much super percentage as you do when you damage them. This makes it so that the player who's getting damaged reaches super quickly, which makes a comeback possible. I thought this would be a nice touch. Let me know what you think of this change in the comments. While I was making progress on the game, I felt as if my efforts were scattered and that they weren't leading me anywhere, so I charted up a solid project plan in Trello. I still think it's incomplete as it lacks concrete deadlines, but having this was certainly better than having nothing. With clear goals in mind, I got to work experimenting with some alternative supers and shields for the game. I wanted to increase the response sensitivity of my game by acknowledging coordinate inputs. So, combining the super move and the regular fire, I created an alternative super that can be activated by keeping the fire button pressed before pressing the super button. This unleashes a stream of bullets that, though harder to aim than the regular super, can be deadlier. Similarly, I implemented an alternative shield formed by a ring of bullets that, unlike the regular shield, lasts for an indefinite period until it is destroyed. This can be triggered by holding down the joystick button and fire button before pressing the super button. Oh, and I also implemented a dashing mechanic, which can be used to dodge imminent danger at the cost of losing momentum. Following my project plan, I next worked on power-ups like super boosters, HP boosters, and acceleration boosters. Next, I added some objects like UFOs that damage both players and space debris that can be used to take cover. Here, I needed some basic functionality like being collected and moving to be similar across all power-ups. To achieve this, I could use either inheritance or composition. But I didn't have enough knowledge to decide one way or the other. I felt like inheriting would be too restrictive and tightly coupled, and I also found it odd that inherited scenes share the same script with parent scripts that can't be edited without modifying the parent in Godot. On the other hand, composition would require me to assemble the parts repeatedly. At one point, I even tried creating a unique scene that uses an existing power-up scene as a component. In the end, I went with a weird mix of both by creating a power-up component scene that the power-up scenes inherit from. It's just a duct tape fix for now. I'm still not clear on what the best approach is. If you could provide some advice in the comments, that would be greatly appreciated. Finally, I did some refactoring to simplify bullet collision layers and added some new ships. The moveset of the ships are the same. The only stats that are different between the ships are HP, acceleration, top speed, and bullet damage. And currently, I'm working on creating a main menu, which, as you can see, is going swimmingly. On a more personal note, I'm finding out that motivation is hard to maintain when working on these long projects compared to game jams. Most of the days I use discipline to power through my work. If you have any suggestions relating to this matter, I'd love to hear it in the comments. My finals for this semester are coming up next week, so it might be a few weeks before I upload again. Until then, this has been Cupid, signing off.